Howdy, 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 my darling Taurus. How are you doing today, darling? Let's get into your weekly tarot reading for October and take a shot every time I say darling, apparently. Don't do it. See what's going to be happening for you today with tarot. All right, Taurus, when you're consuming tarot readings, be sure to check out more than just your one zodiac sign. Check out your sun, moon, rising, as well as your Venus sign when you're taking in tarot readings on YouTube or anywhere else. All right, in the top right-hand corner, Taurus, I'll leave a link to your monthly tarot reading. Let me know how you enjoy that in the comments below. Give this video a like and subscribe, Taurus. If you do enjoy this tarot reading today, it's completely free to do, and it helps me out a lot, darling, and I appreciate those who take that extra step to do that. Other than that, Taurus, let's begin your tarot reading for today, all right, for October. Starting out with the Queen of Pentacles here. All right, so I really like this starting energy that we're getting in here for you, Taurus. All right, October seems to be a month of where you are going to be starting to get taken care of a little bit. All right, I feel like your current connections, like the friendships, family members that you have, I feel like you'll start noticing them trying to get closer with you here. I even get like a message here, we'll talk about it more in detail in a moment here, but with this Hanged Man, it's this sense of where maybe if you were not getting along with certain people in your life, or people were not understanding your perspective on things, Taurus. By the way, this is your energy because you're an earth sign and Pentacles is earth energy. But yeah, I get this sense of like people around you that maybe were not fully understanding you or making you a priority is like a main message here, Taurus, where someone, or I even get like a group. All right, is this like a group dynamic or like a collective maybe felt like you were not being a priority in like really anyone's life in September? October feels like it's going to be a different energy for you. All right, I can't really justify why you weren't getting the attention that you weren't getting from some type of energy, darling. All right, but I can tell you people are seeing you in a different way. All right, people are just noticing you, Taurus, in October. When you walk into a room, you're going to be grabbing attention here. All right, you have this Hanged Man here with the Five of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Overall pretty fabulous here. You'll notice here initially, Taurus, we'll talk about these two cards, put the Ace of Pentacles down for a moment, but you'll notice with the Hanged Man and the Five of Cups here, both of them represent this change in perspective here. All right, and so from a social standpoint, I'll just touch on this quickly because not everyone cares about people, but from a social standpoint here, Taurus, I see this as a message of where it's like maybe people were just stuck on obsessing over some type of detail or fact that wasn't really like a fact, Taurus, and you're really trying so hard to, like, I feel like it's like a stubborn energy that you were dealing with, and I feel like people are just like waking up and understanding your side of things. All right, and taking it more so internally, because this is how I see this more so as for you, Taurus, is the sense of where I feel like you're going into October a little bit disappointed. All right, a little bit disappointed, maybe with like the month in itself, where you're just like, man, I thought I was going to have a lot more in savings than I was going to, or make more money than I thought I was going to, Taurus. But then you get into October, and now I'm not going to give a timeline here, but there is this sense of where you have this initial disappointment, right? Because you're kind of like, man, this sucks here. But once this person changes their perspective here, right, they'll see other cups being filled. So it's like you're going into October, Taurus, with seeing something in a different way, lining that back up with the Hanged Man, where it's like this person sees the sun after they commit to the 180 change in perspective. Do you see where I'm going with this here? So it's like this symbolization, I see this as, of where you're going into the month of like some type of disappointment, having to accept some type of underwhelming news situation. It's like just an energy that you didn't want it to turn out the way that you did, but shortly afterwards, you're noticing, like, again, this with this Ace of Pentacles very much so symbolizes as well with that sun energy, right? It's just like focal ball point here. And so I definitely feel like for you, Taurus, October seems to be a month of like financial gain. You'll even notice as well from the Queen of Pentacles that this pentacle is very present. Now, I talk about financial for you, Taurus, but you know, when it comes to general tarot readings, the earth or the pentacle earth energy, yeah, refers to like your earthly desires. And so I'll talk about finances, right? Because that's the easiest way, especially because pentacles like represent coins, right? But just think about your earthly desires. Where have you felt as if you've been lacking, Taurus, where you feel as if you kind of been snubbed? Because I initially see this as the sense of where you were feeling like a little bit neglected, Taurus, financially. Maybe you felt as if like you weren't getting nearly as many opportunities as you could have when it comes to progressing towards your goal, right? So let's start clarifying this a little bit more, Taurus, and be sure to stick around because we're going to be getting into oracle cards, and oracle cards is where I really flesh out some powerful messages for you, but that's later in the video. All right, so let's clarify this, see what detail we can really get with this before we move on. It's storming, by the way, outside, and it's so beautiful. Taurus, do y'all like it when it rains, or do you like it when it's sunny? Let me know. I personally don't like the sun. All right, so you have the moon, the Six of Swords here with the Knight of Pentacles, clarifying all of this energy here. All right, Taurus, so there is a sense of having to, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, I feel like you do have to walk away from a situation where you kind of accept a situation for what it is. As the Five of Cups, how you change your perspective is by just moving on. So this is not going to be like an energy, Taurus, where it's like, oh, like a situation just like that seemed like it was all over and done with, like it does a 180 and then it comes back into your life. I don't really see this. I feel like you're kind of like taking something on the chin and being like, all right, well, let's continue down this path here. All right, the moon energy here with the Knight of Pentacles really lets me know as well. And now another court card is coming in for you. So where with this court card, with that moon energy, it really represents to me, Taurus, where it's like getting help from surprising places, like getting assistance, getting opportunities from places that you wouldn't really expect. And also take note, once again, Taurus, that one specific pentacle ever so present in your reading the entire time, regardless of what tarot deck we're using here. So, and then in the back of the deck energy, before we move on from this here, Taurus, we have here the Eight of Wands, which is the card of quick success, fast forward movement. It is also a card of experimentation, trying out and feeling out each wand, right? Each wand and seeing how it feels, experimenting with it, right? I always like use references of like Harry Potter, when Harry Potter is trying to find their wand, right? They have to, you know, the weight has to be right and what have you. And so I see this as a little bit of your story here, Taurus, where it's like you're going into October where you're just like, man, I thought something was going to be better than what it was. And then with that shift in perspective, Taurus, something happens where it's like, yeah, you have to walk away from that situation, but something shifts where it's like something else grabs your attention that then again ramps up to be something pretty fabulous in your life. All right, and so that's why I'm feeling a little bit optimistic for you in that regard, Taurus. Okay, darling. So I always like to explain the thought process on things. Tarot to me is very much so like a puzzle. So now let's get into your social life, Taurus. We'll just graze over this, darling, right? With your social life, could be tapping into a platonic, romantic, business, family relationship, or an energy that you have yet to even connect to, Taurus. All right, whatever it is, we'll see what we're getting here. All right, and so first and foremost here, Taurus, all right, if you're wanting to have social connections, new connections coming into your life, darling, Queen of Swords energy, darling, how hard are you making it for people to get to know you? All right, I just have to be honest in that way, Taurus. All right, Spirit is a little bit calling you out here where it's like, are you aware of like how hard it might be to reach you? And this is not saying, Taurus, where it's like I'm trying to shame you for your boundaries or how you present yourself, but if you are trying to bring forth new connections into your life, I don't feel like you are quite aware of like the power or energy that you really present to the world. You'll notice as well, like we have two different queens coming out for you, complementing each row. All right, so you very much so exude like this queenly energy, even in the tarot. Obviously, genders don't matter, darling. All right, it just exudes like an energy of like, you know, your self-worth. You exude like self-care. So it's like people are not really like, people are afraid to approach you because they already can kind of tell like the level of self-respect that you have intimidates them. For whatever the reason is, right? People are people. People are fickle beautiful things. All right. Now, Lover's energy, Justice card with the Seven of Pentacles coming in here. I'm getting heavy air energy, not only just because of the Queen of Swords being air energy, but also you have the Lovers, which is Gemini, the Justice card, which is Libra. All right. So there is just heavy notes of air energy here. So definitely when it comes to social connections here, you probably will be connecting next with some type of creative person here. All right. Now with that Seven of Pentacles here, that's how I'm going to be really like sealing this in the deal. I swear, like your next connection of a friendship, relationship, what have you, it's just connection, Taurus. It does seem to be some type of air signs really relevant, or just some type of really creative, enigmatic type of person. All right. Even in the back of the deck for this, we have the Page of Swords. Pages represents new energy here. So this does seem to be just more so focusing in on the next connection coming towards you at this time. Taurus is seemingly some type of air sign. Now also take note, Page of Swords energy is usually someone like paying attention to you. So I feel like someone notices you in October and like pays attention from you from afar. This could be someone that like recently starts working in the same spot as you, but there's definitely some type of like sense of where someone is observing you. All right, let's clarify this with some final cards here. King of Cups, Four of Pentacles with the Six of Cups coming in here. Interesting. So I feel like the next connection you actually have here, there is some type of familiarity. Girl, I can't say it right now, forgive me, Taurus, but there is some sense of nostalgia here. And whenever I say that, like, that's usually when people associate like a soul connection, right? Or, you know, some people will say soulmate or what have you, but I always like to explain, it's like, you know, you know those connections, Taurus, where it's like you start talking to someone and you feel like you've known them for a lifetime, and it makes sense here. That's why you have that Seven of Pentacles, because it's a card of where it's like growing roots, a card of like investment. The more that you tend to that relationship, the more that'll grow. So it represents really longevity with this. And so pairing it with this, Taurus, it is the sense of where seems to be like an air sign just seems to be playing like an air sign plays a very pillar role in your life in the coming days, Taurus, is some type of air sign. All right, so just be aware about that. All right, darling, you know what that type of connection entails is going to be very dependent on your own personal life, darling, of course. But now, as promised, Taurus, let's get into your oracle cards today. All right, see what guidance y'all need to be hearing from the oracle cards. All right, a burst of magic, number 48 coming in here, equaling to 3 in numerology. So be sure to look up the number 3 numerology. That is your number this week, Taurus. All right, a burst of magic coming in for you. All right, so some people could identify this, Taurus, as like a sense of like some people would call it like a miracle. There does seem to be, with that Page of Wands, it's kind of powerful, and that Six of Cups. Okay, darling. So as I was gonna try to say here, Taurus, is like a burst of magic is this heads up of where it's just like, hey, there's gonna be like a pretty powerful manifestation happening in your life, whether it's like a strong spiritual sign, right? Maybe you start seeing someone like a past relative like standing in your room or something, like just a powerful manifestation in some way. So a burst of magic, clarifying that, is the Six of Cups, Page of Wands, Nine of Pentacles here. Nine of Pentacles, you'll notice, Taurus, is a person being guided by an owl, which is their spirit animal, which is my spirit animal, actually. That's why you always notice the owl there, is guiding them to the right choice here. Page of Wands, we talked about it beforehand, Taurus, about how pages represents that new energy, right? And then from all that, we had that Six of Cups pop right back out. Again, talking about that nostalgia, really confirming the sense here, Taurus, that I feel like in October, what comes off as like a little bit like a miracle even, is just like, I feel like there's going to be someone in your path that you connect with in October where it's just like, what are the odds of that, right? It's like Spirit is really going to be doing something interesting in a good way magically for you in your social life. Some type of new connection is coming in October for sure. All right, let's continue on with your moon oracle cards now, Taurus. I might give you 2. We'll do 2. All right. Taurus, my gosh, take a look at this here, darling. All right, you have the full moon in Libra, you know, the Libra energy, darling, and the gibbous moon. A win-win outcome is in forecast, and you're very close to achieving your goal here, Taurus. All right, and so take note initially of that Libra and air energy. We already talked about it with that Justice card earlier, right? And you're very close to achieving your goal here. So this is letting you know that whatever this is, not even just in your social connection, but also your own personal accomplishments. Something is very close to right around the corner for you. Again, we'll talk about from beforehand, Taurus, like, no, actually, we don't need to be repeating ourselves here. I feel like you get the point of the message here, Taurus. We'll just keep it moving. All right. I have a habit of being very long-winded, so I'm trying to cut that habit a little bit here, Taurus. But definitely, I feel like motivation seems to be like your main word of the month. Is when I think about your energies, like October seems to be a month of where you're going to be feeling really motivated through outside events, through that burst of magic. Now it's interesting. You have the Cardinal card, which has strong spiritual significance. All right. Especially with passed on relatives. And I feel like I even referenced earlier, like a weird example where you might see like a passed on relative manifest in the middle of your room. So you have the Cardinal card, Taurus. The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance. So do whatever it is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Take note as well, Taurus, where it's that same Avery as, you know, it's not the same bird, but it's, you know, it's two birds, again, guiding. All right. So definitely spirit is actively trying to guide you at this time, but it's really important for you. Maybe, you know, when's the last time that you went out, Taurus? Maybe it kind of gives me this sense of where it's like spirit's trying to manifest and work with you in your life here. All right. But it's a little bit hard to reach you. All right. Maybe you need to do a cleansing. There's something that you need to just like zhuzh up in your life a little bit there. All right. Even afterwards, I just now realized we have the Mountain Goat, which talks about something being out of balance in your life. So do whatever it is necessary to correct it. All right. So it's that this is a literal, I told you, darling, earlier, the Oracle cards really like come in with a powerful message there. It is that direct message Taurus are saying. It's just like, hey, we're trying to reach you. We're trying to do that burst of magic. We're trying to connect with you and help you. But we have to, you know, we have to get back into equilibrium. We have to get back on track here. It's a little bit hard. So do what you need to do. It's going to be different for all of you. So I love you so much, Taurus. Thank you for this privilege today. This was such a joy in doing this tarot reading. I love you so much and hopefully I can connect to you sometime in the near future. Bye, Taurus.